a free and fair election where all contesting parties are allowed to contest for the elections and to campaign on an equal footing, then we could have accepted defeat. But under the circumstances, I can say that the loss in Mwansawombe and Lukasha cannot be accepted as having been a free and fair election. And to answer your question about why we are always attacking the PF, I mean, if the PF is involved in corruption, if so many drugs worth millions of kwacha are bought, the expired drugs, shouldn't we answer and respond to that? We have to respond to that. So our response or our campaign message has to be balanced together with exposing the corruption and the injustice which is taking place in the PF. So quite all right. Most of the time you hear us condemning the PF, but if you listen carefully, we also speak about what it is that we are going to do for the Zambian people, what it is that we are going to change in this country. We have a manifesto. People don't think we don't have a manifesto. We have a manifesto, but the scandals and corruption of the PF are just too much that 99% of the time we have to respond to that.
Has there been an election that has been held so far that you can say has been free and fair?
In Zambia under the PF, there has never been a free and fair election in the PF.
So you are
starting with the 2015 and 2016 elections, which, as you know, were stolen using various rigging methods. There has never been an election. That is why our strategy going into 2021.
Why would there be a free election in 2021 if all these past elections have not been free and fair?
We don't expect a free and fair election in 2021, and we are equal to the task.
So you're expecting a loss in 2021?
We are not expecting a loss. We have a strategy. We have a strategy to ensure to say this time around they are not going to get away with it.
Which you couldn't deploy in this particular election?
We didn't deploy it, yes. But in 2021 we are going to deploy our strategy. And whether the PF likes it or not, they are leaving 2021.
All right, I'll give you just the last few minutes to talk about your party, to talk about why the people need to, need to go for the UPND in these elections.
The UPND at the moment is the only party that can liberate the Zambian people from poverty, liberate the youth from unemployment. The UPND is the only party that is competent enough to turn the Zambian economy around, to ensure to say that we begin to build more industries, we begin to reduce the cost of living. As you know, the cost of fuel is going to go up very soon. Because the fact of the matter is that the cost of fuel in Zambia is determined by the price of the dollar and the price of crude oil on the international market. And now that the price of the dollar has gained against the kwacha, you're expecting an increase. But of course, they didn't even announce the increase because of the elections in Mwansawombe and Lukasha. But very soon, anytime next week, you hear the increase. So what I'm saying is that the UPND has got a viable economic plan that I can't go into details here because of time. But we have a viable economic plan that is going to turn this country around. Eliminate corruption, which the PF is known for, and ensure to say that we have competent leaders whose first core of duty is to ensure to say that they improve the welfare and the lives of Zambia, including the people of Mwansawombe. But if you didn't know, Northern Province and Luapula and Mchinga are one of the poorest provinces in this country because there is no industrialization there. And by the way, I want to give you nitty-gritties of the statistics in Mwansawombe and Lukasha. Do you know the turnout that was there? The voter turnout?
Yes.
It was below 50%.
Yes.
The voter turnout was below 50%. So it tells you.
Voter apathy.
Yes.
That's what we started
so
with
it tells you that
50%
of the people who are eligible to vote did not turn up. So those are our people. They are waiting to hear our message. They are waiting for the big day in 2021. They'll turn up and will get substantial vote shares in that region, which will usher us into office as UPND so that we can make a change. President Hakainde Hichilema is equal to the task and is ready to take this country forward.
I think you've heard also the youth in Kabwe, the ones who don't want to talk about, who are calling for the arrest of the church for insulting. What's your message?
Those are hungry youths. The youths in Kabwe are hungry youths. They are being paid to propagate such kind of slander against UPND. We know they're being paid by the PF. You will see a lot of these to my so-called petitions coming up, but we are not worried about those because we know to say that slander is part of PF politics and we don't have time for slander. The time that we have is to continue campaigning from now until the last day of 2021 to ensure to say that we kick these corrupt people out of government. Then we can give those youths jobs so that they are not separated to tell lies about President Hakainde Hichilema and just to embarrass themselves when they should be doing something more constructive.
But it's clear that this talk will not go away. Did HH insult?
No, he didn't.
Huh?
Yeah. You have to look at the context of what he was saying.
And what was the context?
The context of his speech was at a rally. And it was in a region where the word that he uttered is understood differently. That is what you call street lingo. So there is no insult in that, absolutely. The insult was from President Edgar Lungu. If you heard in his last rally, what he was saying, Kabwalala, what does that mean? He even repeated it 3 times. But I'm not here to discuss who's got the bigger insults or whatever. But President HH is a man of sobriety, he's a man of morals. He can never and will never insult. He thinks things through before he speaks.
Sure. So what's the way forward? It's clear that that debate will not go away.
No, the debate is not even...
just the beginning, and now they've started in Kabwe. They might be in Lusaka, and those voices, I feel, they will get stronger. And by the time we get to 2-3 weeks, it might be a different story. What is the UPND doing?
They're not going away. We know that these are what we call destructive statements. They want to divert you away from speaking on issues that matter to the Zambian people. So the issue of insults, the issues of privatization are not going to go anywhere, because if anything, they'll backfire on the PF themselves. So as we have no time to be responding to cheap shots like that, our focus is to mobilize the party to ensure to say that we capture 2021. And our data and our numbers are showing us to say 2021, we are taking it. There's no doubt about that.
Mr. Simataa, we would like to wish you and the UPND well and success. Congratulations on the ward by-elections that you scooped, and also congratulations on the victory that you refused to recognize for the people that voted for you in Mwansabombwe and Lukasha, in as much as the overall vote didn't go in your favor. But congratulations either way for having garnered more than 1,500 in Mwansabombwe.
We could have done better. We could have won those if the level playing field was level. And I would like to close by saying the PF must release our officials, Mr. Mcheleka, Elijah and Ingwira from sales, because they kept them there for the duration of the last 3 days of the campaign, for 4 days of the campaign. Now that the elections are over, they have gotten a stolen victory. Let them release our officials so that we can get to business as usual.
All right. Well, we are going to be talking about more politics on the other side. We're going to be joined by Lazarus Sichula, our reporter that was in Lukasha. He just came back and is going to be giving us an update really of what was going on the ground in Lukasha. Join us on the flip side. Good morning.